Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be a review mainly focused on the new, or somewhat new, release of the Atlas Autoracks, and also another look at some of the recent rolling stock purchases that I've made here. So first, taking a look at this here. This is one of the new Autoracks. I wanted to get BNSF because this was one that I was going to kit bash several years ago and just never got around to it. And these are far from the first Autoracks on the market. This is the first I've actually had it out of the box, so you have to bear with me on packaging and how to figure out how to get it out of here. Well, that's pretty easy. It's nicely protected here. So as I look at this here, my reactions are pretty much brand new. It's got decent weight to it. I think maybe the Walthers ones are a little bit heavier. So first thing here is we're going to take a look at kind of how this rolls around here and compare it to some of the previous Autoracks on the market. Well, it seems to roll pretty good. It detects that my layout is not flat. Not every piece of rolling stock does that. So we're going to go around kind of 360 degrees here and take a look at all the details on this, as well as the details on the bottom here. You know, just taking a look at this, it doesn't appear to be a whole lot different than the Walthers ones. And we'll see if we can do a side-by-side here. So an earlier release and kind of the first that Autoracks were introduced was the old Walthers kits, which are easily identifiable by these old boxes here. I say old, I mean, they don't feel that old to me. But, you know, in train shops in the 90s and early 2000s, this would be what you would get if you wanted an Autorack. And it was a kit, and you'd have to build it. Considerably less underbody detail, and a lot of times you actually have to paint this part. Now, you don't really see too much of that anyway. And also, you do kind of have to add weight to these to make them feel right. And all of these you just kind of glued together. Now, Walthers doesn't do these as a kit anymore. So what they have is, over the years, they used to call it the Gold line. And now it's called Walthers Proto, but it's the same thing. And you can see here, this looks very, very similar to the Atlas. It does feel like it's a little bit better weighted than the Atlas. And I can tell you one thing you do have to be super careful of on these is they have this little like brake line there, and I've about hit that on the track a couple times trying to put these on. So you got to be super careful you don't break that off when you're putting that on track. Normally I kind of use this little Kato piece here to roll things on, but I don't think I'm going to use that. I'm just going to do it by hand here. And we'll put the old Walthers kit on here last. There we go. So as we kind of take a look here from oldest to newest, they all match up really well. And I have 28-degree radius here. So we'll take another look from up top. So just to give you an overview of what we're really looking at here is the outside loop here is about 32-inch radius, 28, 26, and 24 on the innermost. And you can kind of see here that you probably don't want to go any more narrow than 24 because the couplers are really far out here and you're almost hitting end to end there on the other side. So, you know, regardless of what the boxes say for these, I would not do any smaller than 24-inch radius. You could probably get away with 22, but it's going to look pretty ridiculous. The other thing that you run into here is that it's pretty much halfway hanging off of the track in the corner. So if you get a really long train, it's going to end up derailing itself in the corners. So before we move on to taking a look at some of the other rolling stock here, this is a pretty solid piece of rolling stock. It's not really the newest or, you know, the only thing that's out there in this category. There's certainly other choices. Probably the main reason to get some of these is that they've done some paint schemes that Walthers has not done. For instance, this orange BNSF, Walthers has never produced it. There are some others on the market. At this point in time, I still think that the Intermountains are far and away the nicest Autoracks that you can get. There's plenty of reviews out there on those, but they actually use real metal grills here on the side, and you can actually see through them, and they just look fantastic. And really, they're about the same price as these. These come in right around $70 to $80. Some local hobby shops that charge upper 80s on these, which, you know, that's right in the territory of the Intermountains. Also, Scale Trains has announced that they're going to be doing some Autoracks soon. So, you know, if this was significantly cheaper than the Scale Trains or the, you know, the Intermountains, I would think that maybe there's a little more appeal to these. But there's just kind of a lot more competition in this range. And if you're looking for something more lower end, then certainly Walthers is an option. You can even still find the kits on eBay all the time. Generally, they're usually not going to go any less than about 25. Sometimes on the upper end, you'll see people trying to get $40 or $50 for an unbuilt kit if it's a more rare paint scheme. But really, your Walthers Proto and Gold line is going to be kind of your best value there. For the upper end, you know, this isn't bad. It's just that there is going to be some other competition for it out there, and those Intermountains I really feel like are the best on the market. We'll have to see how the Scale Trains do. So moving on here to some of the other rolling stock that I've picked up recently here in the last month or two. Some of these 5-car sets from Athearn, well cars. They've done these many times, so there's nothing really new about these. Can never have too many of those. And I picked up a Lehigh Valley car because I didn't have any Lehigh Valley. This car here I picked up to do the Norfolk Southern, Erie Heritage, and the NS 4000 unit. I'm actually working on building a complete train to replicate one I took a video of a couple years ago, and this is one of the buffer cars. Little Penske car. C&O, just because I needed some C&O in the mix. Conrail. Some more C&O. Further C&O. And Western Maryland. So I don't have nearly enough Western Maryland. And some more BNSF hoppers for my worm. Which these I need to put the FRA stripes on and switch out the couplers to metal ones. I have a couple more back here of other road numbers. So just adding these into the mix there. And that's about it for my rolling stock haul. It's kind of funny, I go and show all these modern things, and I just never ever run modern at all, it seems. So some of these would be for more of my historical Pensy trains, but at some point here I may switch back to running some modern stuff. But for right now, the Steam and Pennsylvania Railroad's kind of been dominating mostly what I run. Some further updates with the layout. Been working with this a lot. Had a lot of dead spots. This particular train here, which there'll be a video upcoming on that again. It's got different sound in it now, and I couldn't even make a single lap around here without it cutting out multiple times. So I upgraded the gauge of wiring, worked on the terminal distribution underneath the layout, and gave an alcohol cleaning to the track itself. Seems to be better now with the K4 streamlined. I'm still actually noticing that it's been cutting out, so I think that might be more of the locomotive than the track. So I'm working on getting my track better. I still need to kind of rework the outside three here. Really only the inside line is the one I actually gave some work to, because that one seemed to run the worst. So there'll be some more upcoming videos here on different things. Really excited about this project. It's an MTH engine I picked up a really long time ago. It had a blown soundboard, so I've since replaced that with Lock Sound 5 and kind of going through some testing with it right now. I think you'll be really impressed with it when you hear it. But that's about it for this one.